What is Operation Column? Operation Column is a set of planned actions taken under the socialist government of Mr. Felipe Gonzalez, who from power in collaboration with the PSOE, which was the ruling party, was devised to restrict and eliminate the constitutional rights of thousands of people, especially of the civil guards who applied for the right of association, a way of depriving permanent troops attracted from the fight against terrorism to prevent us from enjoying constitutional rights, in short, to prevent the democratization of the civil guard institution, which was considered to be the safeguarding of Franco's regime. What does the Operation U report discover? In general, the corruption exercised from the state apparatus at the PSOE stage, in the serious violation of human and constitutional rights, made by skipping the basic principles of our constitutional order and the current legality, which affect the entire population in general, not just the civil guards, which in our view constitute imprescriptible crimes. The phones of anyone who opposed the dictates of the PSOE were tapped illegally, journalists, trade unions, lawyers, family members and neighbors, etc. were spied on. Persons suspected of secticing the Constitution were monitored, or collaborated with the people who were requesting to be able to exercise them. Provocations for the crime and to arrest the civil guards who exercised their rights by carrying out the aforementioned arrests at night, and with false accusations of military sedition, making unlawful arrests for the exercise of the right of association under Article 22 of the Constitution, and dizzying the judgment of the TC that recognized our right of association. Mailboxes were searched illegally, etc. Phones of citizens were tapped that had nothing to do with the civil guard, but who believed in a democratic civil guard for thinking or expressing themselves in that regard. Next, an interview that Maria once conducted, webmaster page http://desilluminate.com, to Kate Rosa, as a practical example of what Operation Column was. Last September, I published in the other blog information about the Operation Column. After this, anonymous was self-attributed to bringing to light one of the parts that I had published. I am pleased that these documents have been offered to the official media, and that none have echoed them. With the first entry that was made, soon came people who attributed it to it. The truth is that it left here, but the truth that does not matter. The really important thing is that the information arrives, and that it is one of the few occasions that we have to see Spanish classified documents, since in Spain it does not declassify in the face of the public, as you can read if you click on the image with the CNI logo in the column on your left, in which you can read the answer of the CNI to the question, why can I access and download declassified documents from the US and British governments, and do not have access to those of my country? I did not want Operation Column to be missing from this, the new domain of the blog, so I proceeded to make an entry in which I will encompass those that were made in the old one. I start with the 2 interviews with Cabo Manuel Rosa, remember, who was the victim of that operation. It all came about from an entry in which an anti-fascicle boy was told, who asked for help, because he believed that he had been drugged, to prepare a case in which to frame him. Kate Rosa's response was not kept waiting. As soon as he read it, he was blunt and said, "I believe everything. This dictatorial state is capable of exterminating the social leaders, by all illegal means, who applied me even to myself being civil guard. What won't they dare do with any other citizen?" I contacted him, and told him I should tell him, so that people would know, and I have to say, he didn't hesitate for a moment, in case while I was writing to him, he was writing a comment in the blog post telling him, comment that never appeared on the blog, nor had the blog sent it to me to spam, or anything. Manuel was not surprised by anything, like the one who knows that happens every day, and it is entirely possible, he told me they will have eliminated it, the black hands of old. Desi, what happened to Kate Rosa? MRR, to give you an idea of the depth of the subject, 10 months ago, now more than a year ago, that in 600 folios, with names, crimes and evidence, I presented in the Supreme Court a criminal complaint that would dismantle everything these anti-democratic pigs have mounted. The criminal complaint was admitted ipso facto, and the president of Sala became speaker, but sleeps the dream and control that we know, without diligence, nor ratification. I belong to the Democratic Civil Guards movement, and we have the courts flooded with similar cases, The same thing that has happened to them have these citizens, they made in Malasana the beggars, to experiment. Mice is very simple. At 13 hours on September 20th, 1986, I filed through regulation a right of petition, armed in Article 29 of the Constitution, requesting authorization to collect the relevant signatures in order to legalize a professional association in the Civil Guard. At 19 hours, while talking to an Andalusian deputy of the Communist Party, about which I had written, I was arrested for military sedition. At least 10 members of the information services of the GC, the Spanish Gestapo, came. On the following nights, without the presence of a lawyer, I was tortured and applied pentotal, managing to take out of my brain everything I had stored on the Democratic Union of Civil Guards, which was later legalized by the Constitutional Court in 1989. I had to collapse the Constitutional, to the point where they issued a providence telling me that if I filed another Amparo resource in the TC, it would be sanctioned with 100,000 STS from the time. We had to go to Strasbourg in 1987 to have the Spanish government convicted of the illegal detention of 100,000 civil guards since the entry into force of the Constitution. Deprivations of liberty by the commands in violation of Article 25.3 of the Constitution. Desi, and the extermination with beggars of Malasana, have you denounced it too? You know there's a lot of us who get teased for saying things like that don't happen. MRR, for all of the above, and with regard to GA